Guys and gals, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Today I want to talk a little bit about Mr. Depp. I think it's now gone into day 9 or 10. And when I originally put out the story about this a long time ago, I played some of the audio clips, and it didn't really get much traction on the internet on mainstream, although it did on Reddit and the dark circles of the web. Well, now it's been played in court and it's coming to life. And before I get too deep into this, I want to read a message, and I didn't put it up here on my screen. I want to read a message that was posted on one of my videos. Because whenever we get into groupthink is when we get into problems, whether you want to call it socialism or communism, capitalism, any of the isms. When you look at an individual as part of a group, that's where you start getting into trouble in many cases. All right, and I want to read this comment because this will have everything to do with what I'm talking about today. That's why I want to read this. I'm not calling her out because based on the profile picture and name, it is a woman. But she, in reply to one of my videos, she said, the same way that women can ruin your entire reputation now with one allegation is the same way men have been able to ruin women's lives for centuries. The tables are finally turning, and we're getting to see just how much men cannot handle what they've put women through. It is what it is, but the truth will not stop coming to light. Now, the reason I wanted to pull this out specifically is whether you want to talk about maybe ancestors of mine or something that owned and forced others to work on a plantation. The people alive today, number one, weren't forced to do that, and number two, weren't the ones that were owning the people. And yes, I'm being very selective and careful of my language. Thank you, YouTube. But when we carry those over, it's as if the sins of the past carry through, and because you're now here, you have to pay for the sins of your fathers. And when we start doing this, you're going to find that you're going to have societal collapse. You're not going to, you're going to have pushback. And just in this case, the more that comes out, the more that it seems, at least so far, that many of the things that Miss Heard was saying is incorrect. And for men to even, and again, not men as a whole, but a man or multiple men in general, for them to have a voice, they have to take it to court, they have to sue, they have to go out of their way, where when a woman speaks, we're just supposed to believe her. And this is the new latest trend. And when you come out and speak on this topic, people are like, oh, you're against the also me movement. And I say, no, there's some things that may have come out of that. We do want to protect women where bad things are happening to them. But you can't just inherently say, well, a woman has spoken, so now we must listen. So I'm not going to go into the backstory. As you guys know, Miss Heard has said that Johnny did inappropriate things to her, and she kept all her movie deals, and she was a spokesperson for, home harm, and he lost most of his movie roles, and he's suing now just to be heard. And the interesting thing is that I've listened to multiple lawyers speak on this, where they say, well, for him to actually win a defamation case, he's going to have a very difficult time. But Johnny said he really, and again, I don't have any of the actual quotes, but Johnny said he's not doing this so much to win the case. It's so that he can be heard and he can get his point out. And he's done this twice now, once in the UK and once here. So yes, it's costing him millions for these attorneys. Yeah, he knows he's probably not going to win anything, but it's the point that he just wants his voice to be heard, so he not only doesn't lose his Hollywood career, but his children can grow up knowing their dad is not this monster, and that he will not go down in history as a bad person. And it's costing him millions to do this. Well, just recently, and I'm going to bring up a couple of things here, because again, I can't do the whole story, but just recently, here's some of the correlations that aren't going well for Amber. They say during the opening statements this week, Miss, and you notice that's blanked out, by the way. Let me silence my damn phone. You notice that there is the Miss Heard's name is blanked out because a lot of times when you post this, social media companies are removing it. You can't even have this conversation. Why? Because it puts her in a bad light. And when we go to these extremes where you're now obscuring the truth and hiding stories so people can't see that somebody's a liar, all it does is it looks bad for women. And it keeps women that actually have bad things happening to them, it keeps them from being able to get justice. It causes doubt. And that's the opposite of what we actually want. But in the same token, we cannot blame innocent men and put innocent men down for having things happen to them. So anyway, they had to blank her name out. Of course, Miss Heard's lawyer claimed that the actress carried Milani Conceal Plus Perfect All-in-One Correcting Kit with her through her entire relationship with Mr. Depp and suggested she used the makeup to cover injuries from his harm during the relationship. Milani, the makeup company, and they even have a picture of it here that they showed in court. Milani has since responded to the brand's surprise mention at the trial. They came out with a TikTok video that said, by the way, this correcting kit that she's saying she used, correcting meaning touch-up makeup kit, didn't come out till 2017, a year after they had already broken up. So she couldn't have carried it with her and used it with her because it didn't exist. If that's not hard logic for you, if that's not hard facts for you, that's perjury. Sorry, that's perjury. And it's made its way to the mainstream news. Makeup company responds with, quote, facts that throw wrench in Miss Heard's claims. Makeup company has responded. She said that she used the makeup to cover up bruises. And they said, well, we didn't release that makeup until after the couple divorced in 2017. The Milani brand took to social media. But this is the whole official thing. But they say, take note, the harm was between 2014 and 2016, got divorced in 2016. The palette that they're saying that she used that was exactly like this didn't come out until 2017. Now you can say, well, maybe it was a different palette and she got confused. If you're getting confused about what makeup you used but you're stating it's a fact, you might be a little lie, might be a mistake, but either way, it throws her credibility out the window. And again, they have the full story here. I'm not going to read down through the whole thing, but now Heard has, I guess, sued Johnny, seeking $100 million, accusing the actor's legal team of making false claims about her. So this is just, she can't let it go. She's going to come right back at him, and that's fine because here's the thing: Johnny Depp has the money, and number two, the more this is out there, the worse it's looking for her. And remember, even if they say they didn't find enough evidence or she didn't use his name enough to win the defamation suit, everybody's going to hear, oh, he didn't win the defamation suit, just like he didn't in the UK. But the perception's there. The lies are out there. The, quote, mistakes are out there. And I'll finish on an interesting note because no one right now is believing Amber. And here's another thing that is key and also very concerning for men in general. And again, men of the past may have done bad things to women of the past. None of that carries forward. I have not done it, and I have not done it to you, just as billions of men have not done it to billions of women. We got to let that crap go. Because if it's tit for tat for forever, we're never going to get out of this. It'll swing back to then no one believes women, and then women will be harmed and can't get their voices heard, and then it swings back, and we just keep going back and forth. We got to find a middle to this that is reasonable for both sides. They say audio, Heard suggests no one will believe Johnny if he also claims to be harmed because he's a man. And they played audio about this. And again, all these stories are way out there, guys. But I'm just kind of giving you summations over this. And this is something we hear a lot of times. I see you guys posting down below. I get emails from you, and I cannot read them all. I'm like 20,000 emails behind. I'm still reading through them. I will probably never catch up. I'll be reading the last one on my deathbed. But that also means I really can't respond. So just because I don't respond to you does not mean I haven't read it or not going to read it or not going to. I just don't have the time. But I do hear these stories where men have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. And these are average men, not, Johnny $1 million in the pocket guys. These are guys that have said, I've had to take out loans. I faced bankruptcy just to defend my name and myself from, false claims. Now, are some men maybe getting away with it? Are some men doing bad things? Yeah, of course. Are women doing bad things? Are women getting away with lying to the cops? Of course. No, we're not saying anyone's innocent here. But what we're saying is you have to go through due process. And the whole point of why this is such a big deal to so many men and really for so many people is that she has a voice. She can just stand up and say, bad things happen to me, and become an advocate and speak out about, and everybody's, stunning and brave. In the meantime, he gets fired. No one will hire him. No one wants to talk to him. No one will interview him. He's a ghost. He's all but gone. And has to spend millions just to get into the court to say, here's my proof. Here's my evidence. Here's what happened. Here's my voice. That's the whole deal why so many people are kind of stepping out saying, hey, you know what? If this is what it takes for a man's voice to be heard in his own defense, we've got a problem. Now, and I don't know if this is since all the media is running with this, I don't know if they're going to try to say that somehow, and the graphic, if you're not watching, if you're listening, it says why Amber Heard's alleged personality disorder means, or borderline, BPD, and Newsweek runs it, histrionic personality disorder, AH's court diagnosis explained. And this is a big story. And so what I wonder is now are they going to say what she did is part of an illness or a mental problem, and thus she cannot be held accountable? It's not her fault, other outside, because they're already laying the groundwork to give her a pass. Because if a guy came forward and he had, a disorder or something like that, and he said, well, it's because of this, they say, it doesn't matter. And they'd throw the gavel, the courthouse, everything on top of him, the jail, everything on top of him. So they're already starting to prep the damage control for Amber. And why? Because we've got to make sure this narrative goes out that women cannot do anything wrong. And I saw this trending on Twitter the other day. Let me zoom this up a little bit. I saw this trending on Twitter. Hashtag AH was trending on Twitter, and I decided, well, let me click this and see what's going on with that. And just reading, and I suggest I have a burner account on I don't post anything on Twitter. I don't comment. It's just so I can be a creeper and find news stories and read. And I'm not going to read all of these, but the overwhelming take from most of these is that no one's really feeling Amber Heard's story. And now, again, I didn't search for justice, and in Johnny's name and all that. This is straight up just right here. You can see hashtag AH is a liar. AH is harmful. AH Discover Party. And those are the top ones right now. It's not going so. Those are the top hashtags right here. Not going so well for her. And I'm okay with that. I do not know. I do not know what is true or not true. I'm watching the case. I'm watching the case and I'm paying attention to it just like the rest of you are. But this was a screen grab. And this is Tio Chilean. And he said, what team are you? Johnny or Heard. And if you're for Johnny, and retweet if you're for Amber. The likes have 7,242. So 7,242 clicked on Johnny, 20 clicked on Amber. Now 72 would have been 1%. So this is about 0.3 or 0.4%, less than 1% of people are still sticking with Amber. So, this is something I think everybody, at least men who care about men's rights and things being equal and our voices being heard and allowed to give a defense over an accusation, that has to be allowed. It must. And it doesn't mean you have to believe the guy. It definitely doesn't mean you need to believe the woman. You don't believe anybody. You listen to both sides. You gather evidence. And if it's something that you need to take into a court, or if you need to go to the hospital and have a test kit run to see if something bad was done, then do it. But when someone can just come out here and say, well, this happened to me, and instantly whoever they say it's against is down in flames, and she is somehow heralded as a hero, that's got to stop. That's got to stop, because what people don't realize is it's literally straws that are breaking the camel's back. If you haven't heard that expression, if you put enough weight on a camel by putting straw, I guess is kind of the traditional expression. Eventually, just one little tiny piece, as you set it up top, will be the one that makes the camel's legs give out and it collapses. And so that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, when you've got men being shamed on social media for asking women out, in the mainstream, a guy tries to creatively ask a girl out by, and I did a video on this, by writing something cute on a coffee cup, and it goes viral news that he's a creep. When you've got cases like this, where men are being accused of things, look at the one that I did about Bill Murray last night, where he's instigated it's a bombshell allegation that he apparently touched a woman's hair, put his arm around her shoulder. And again, if you go into the commercials where the dads are idiots, or sitcoms where dads are idiots, when you look at the movies today where the women are Mary Sues and they can do nothing wrong and they've never done anything wrong and they're perfect, and all the men are cowardly, pervy jerks that are all the bad guys, whatever. When you put all of this together, it makes men not feel very good about themselves. And I think that's the goal. It also gives women overconfidence and thinking that they're, a little better than they actually are, which is ironically a bigger problem, I think, than men being down on themselves, as someone who thinks they're, God's gift to creation, because they're going to be disappointed by everything in life that they don't get their way. At least if you're an underdog and you've got a will to kind of go get them and carry through it and find some stoicism and push on, when you come out the far side, you'll be a stronger person for it. So I wanted to touch on this a little bit just because of what a big deal it is that men are not being heard, what a big deal it is that this is one more straw on the camel's back of society that is making things collapse. And when things really get bad, when things really, really get tough, really tough, it seems women always come around and they go, help, help, please. I've got a hole in my roof and I need someone to crawl up there and do it. I've done it before. My father taught me how to do it. My mother wouldn't get up the ladder. My mother'd get up the ladder high enough to paint. Do you think she's going over the lip to crawl on a roof at 70 years old? No, but my father did it at 70 years old, and he taught me how to do it. So when I go back to visit my mom, and this is no shame against my mom or anything, but my father did. He learned from his father. He taught me. Here's how you fix an electrical circuit, like taking the circuit breaker out of an electrical box, how to turn off electricity so you don't fry yourself, how to change not only light sockets, but put in a ceiling fan instead of a light, and fixing faucets and leaky roofs, and turning off air conditioners and making sure they haven't frozen up, and how to check for the lines to be clear, and knowing how to check for a freon leak or whatever. All these multitude of things. Well, women don't have an interest in that, and women don't traditionally, at least, get into that. So when those things break, when there's no gasoline, when a farmer's got to go out and farm, and again, not saying women don't farm, but we're talking about the percentages, the majorities. When engines break down, those are the things that keep you from operating a normal society. And so women are great at saying men are worthless and men are crap and men are this and men are that, until things get bad. Until the internet, I've gotten text messages from people I haven't heard in 8 years about how to fix their internet. Why me? Because they know I know what I'm doing and I'm free. I don't usually answer the texts, but you guys get my point. You know, it's just always men are awful. They're the worst. But oh no, we need to go to combat. Where's all the men? Draft the men. Call upon the men. Why? Why is it that we're the dregs of society until you need us? Then we're the heroes, and then when you don't need us anymore, we're back to the dregs of society. Why is it that I could just go on and on and on. I won't. I'll leave it here. Instead of doing a dating profile of the day, I'm going to do this for everybody. I want to just talk about this. You know, again, and this is from Funny on 9gag, and I like it because it's not, there are politics on there, but both sides, a lot of people posting different stuff about a lot of different topics. It's a place to go to look at memes. And this was Funny from 6 hours ago when I grabbed the screenshot last night. And it's got 6.8 thousand upvotes to 300 downvotes. Again, if that were 600, that's 10%. So we're looking at maybe 5% of people disagree with that statement, which means 95% of the people on 9gag agree with this sentiment. It says, for a generation that can't find a good man, you ladies sure are pregnant a lot. And that just, again, goes to show you that it's become popular, funny, social. You get validation for crapping on men. But I think in the real world, I mean, if you really look at the real world, not that many people are really crapping on men. Not that many people are really against men. And I guess that's the takeaway I want you guys to remember, is that the internet is not the real world. News is not the real world. They want the clicks. They want big, salacious headlines to get your attention and your clicks. That's not the real world. The real world's still pretty damn good for men and women. And people are getting along, whether you're different colors or religions or whatever, men versus women. 99.999% are getting along just fine. It's on the internet, and it's with all these salacious things that are going on where people are not getting along. But the problem is, in social media and all these other places, they're just pushing the message that women can do no wrong and men are inherently bad. And it's causing a lot of problems for men. And if it doesn't get corrected, I'm telling you this, there will be a rubber band snapback effect. And when that happens, not a lot of people are going to be happy. Guys, thanks for hanging with me here for so long. I know I kind of get off on tangents, but it's more the idea of what this court battle is about. Not so much the court battle in and of itself, but the fact that he just has to write a big check just to be heard. And I think that's a problem. And until we fix it, how do you protect yourselves? Be careful. You know, as many of you posted on the Bill Murray video that I did, there's a reason why there's a reason why Keanu Reeves does the hover hand, where he's like standing like this and his hands are inches above the person's shoulders and they're always in view. No matter what, he'll stand there like this if he has to take a photo. He just makes sure that you can see my hands are not touching these people I'm taking a photo with. And he's done that forever, I think. The tides have turned, and guys are the ones that have to look out now on dates. Women do too. There's still some creepos out there. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying men just have to be just as careful, because instead of taking advantage of, like maybe a woman might, she may just say something and your career's over, and then it's game over for you. So thank you again for joining me here on Locals. If you're on YouTube, join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com, dating profiles a day, free speech forums, etc., ad-free content, and you can become a supporter of me for $5 a month. And I'm still wanting about 250 more supporters. I would really appreciate that if you would. All right, we'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Stay safe and stay smart.